issues here again.
Absolutely could. Still though, TNC, some great late game with their draft. I mean, you let the DK go too late and you let the Faceless Void get too late, it's becomes a real issue for the side of Cignal. They'll try and get the advantage early on with this draft and hopefully push through the mid game. TNC definitely want to drag this out if they can afford to. Of course, we haven't seen Armel on the DK. We've only been seeing Gabby, but I imagine it will be a similar performance between the two. Well, it's really just going to be about the lanes, like who gets the advantage first. But certainly for the Radiant side, they can't really afford to fall behind with the Slark and the Ember. It just will not pan out well for them if they do.
I think this time around, TNC, with the Doom for KP, should have a better time that offlane, which should help in their early game. Like, that's one thing with TNC so far. In the past 2 days, they've been giving KP some really, I want to say passive heroes. They've just been kind of slow to start, slow to play, slow in lane. So just giving him something that is a bit more active, at the very least once you hit maybe like level 3, level 4, is a better sign. Perhaps KP can kind of show us that offlane performance we kind of expect from him.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have a quick pause coming out from TNC. Looks like Gabby may be having some connection issues going on. Of course, TNC, a lot of pressure. They need to pull off this win. Otherwise, they do lose their major slot, and Cignal Ultra will go straight through to the major.
Yeah, I mean, even if TNC does drop out, of course, they're going to be in the minor qualifiers, I believe. And if they go through there, of course, they can still go to the majors by winning the minor, which is a bit of a tall order. Don't get me wrong, that's going to be a very big one to do. But they still have that lifeline, I suppose. Would rather not go that route, of course. Both teams really don't want to have to play an entire tournament for a shot. They would prefer to just go straight up to the major. Much safer that way.
I mean, in all fairness to TNC, though, they've basically qualified for TI-10 anyway. So
pretty much. Well, with the way the teams have played, yeah, like you've won one major, you're pretty much in the top for DPC. So, I mean, you could sit back and relax, sure, but I don't think you'd want to do that. It just kind of sounds a bit too lax, and I don't reckon TNC is that lax. They're just really caught out. They've just been really caught out by the patch, I guess.
Certainly can agree with that one. There will be maybe a little bit of a fight over those bounty runes. Top lane, they're going to say hello to each other as well. Of course, that position 4 Puck, such an annoying hero to be up against. It just hits so hard. It's just always useful as well with that Dream Core.
The battle begins.
KP gonna walk in, trying to steal this banner in, but Nando does pick it up. It will be a 3-for-1 trade once again for the side of Cignal Ultra. And Tim's is actually gonna cop a fair bit of damage on his way up.
Yeah, that's gonna be rough. If Grims can keep applying that pressure, this offlane might actually not go as well as you'd want it to for TNC. The dual lane of Mirana Doom has some potential. I don't think the Doom's gonna be really helping out and setting up for that Mirana anytime soon, though.
Probably not, but Tim's really doesn't seem to need it. Like, he seems to be able to land these arrows fairly consistently, even without the setup. Keep an eye on it, though. Looks like Grims is not planning to make it any easier for the side. In fact, TNC, Tim's?
Damn. Damn. Oh, Grims. You never underestimate an Elder Titan who gets enough stacks in the Astral Spirit. You do not. You have to respect that big guy with a stapler gun. It hurts. It is a stapler gun, though.
It is. Okay. It is. Grims casually works in an office after he's finished with these games.
Ooh, man. I mean, you take a look at that Doom, he has basically zero armor, right? The Basilius is giving him some, but this is something that Grims can really exploit.
Certainly can. Of course, we have to have a quick look at the other lanes, where Van is struggling a bit up that top lane. March is providing quite a bit of harassment. And, unlike KYXY's build that we've been seeing over and over again, looks like Van has prioritized going for the moment of courage rather than the press the attack. So he doesn't really have as much sustainability right now. Well, now he does have the press the attack, so things go a little bit more back to normal. Certainly was getting abused early on while not having it. Oh, trading some harassment with March on the Chen. The puck has the position for it. Like, his right click damage is so darn high. It's very frustrating for March to have to even try to have this harassment with the puck.
It's gonna be rough. Like, as long as Arius manages to progress through levels just fine, at least match the Chen, you're not really gonna have a bad time in this dual lane. Sure, you're not gonna harass out these heroes, but you should be pretty okay where you are. I think he just wanted to reset. Probably. There was no one to chase. No one was slow.
Was he not TP? Am I seeing things? His TP's not on cooldown. What was that animation?
Yeah, no. I'm not sure.
Maybe I was just seeing things, John. May have been a taunt or something. Or just a denial. Of course, looking into that mid lane, Armel, top of the last hits board, 19 and 3 on the DK. Jamesy at 14 and 2, so Armel definitely seems to have the advantage. Well, while that's happening, Eris does find a courier. It was Gabby's on the Void, so he does take that out for a bit.
Multi-generation.
Both teams happy to trade farm for now. We're about 3.5 minutes into this game. Eris looking to see if he can find perhaps more couriers. Gotcha! Well, bot. Oh, there's a pounce that goes out. Nando, he will find Tim's on the Mirana, but there won't be much follow-up to it. In fact, Nando almost cops an arrow to the backside. He does barely avoid it. KP trying to apply some pressure with the Scorched Earth, and he certainly does force them to back off his Mirana.
Yeah, it's at these levels that the Doom and Mirana can really start applying that harass. Nando should be a bit careful. He's still pretty happy in this lane. 20-8, 21-8. Pretty much up there in the last hits chart, so doing quite well for himself despite it.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Mid lane, still favoring Armel. Of course, with the Breathe Fire, it's hard for Jamesy to really contest this. Because he does have the Flame Guard, but it's not really as effective as you would hope up against these DKs. Jamesy, take a few more green kills, but Armel starting to get a bit aggressive. He does throw out the Dragon Tail. Doesn't have the mana for the Flame, but he does now with the Mango, and he will find it.
Dire's top tower is under
Armel
attack.
finding a very important pickup in the mid lane. It's going to certainly help his farm. Well, James, you're going to be a little bit more careful up against the damage output of the DK.
It's going to be a bit rough here for Ember Spirit, just because that matchup does favor the Dragon, right? Because, again, he just punishes sort of physical chorus. He's way too tanky to bully out unless he gets a support rotation.
Meanwhile, bot lane, Tims ends up finding the Order Titan. Nice little pickup from him. They were just fighting over the bounty runes. Tims eventually does get his revenge up against that ET. Two for 3 now. Less than 1k net worth lead for TNC. Everything seemingly going pretty smoothly for them. Surprisingly though, Gabby is a little bit behind in terms of last hits. Van has actually overtaken 29 and 4 on the Legion and 21 and 2 on the Void. Looks like the pressure being applied from the Cignal side is going to be slowing him down.
It is very conservative play here from Gabby, understandably so. I mean, all he really has to play around it is one spell that does give him a bit of a escape mechanism, basically. So he's not able to pump out that harass himself. We did see March just trying to trade blows with Ares for a while. He's not really able to maximize his presence with the creeps to force Van out, which means Van can really just trade hits.
That's exactly what he keeps doing.
Catch us if you can. Die, mongrel.
Back at bot lane, KP Starting to catch up in farm. He was a little bit low in terms of last hits, but that was expected. Of course, with the Devourer, you can catch up in net worth pretty darn easily anyway, so it's not too much of a concern for him. It's like Tims may have a go at Grims, but no, doesn't throw the arrow out. Just wants to ensure that his Doom gets away from this Elder Titan. Top lane, March. Again, trying to harass out Eris, but Eris will just go in with the orb. They just get the hell out as well. Just want to contest these jungle camps. March, though, still trying to get them himself. He's forced to back off. TNC starting to go towards, once again, the Ember Spirit. Arrow will fly in from Tims as well, and the Flame Guard will eventually wear off, but he did have Remnant available.
Under attack.
And he does barely manage to get out in time.
Rune of regeneration.
Now, he had a regen rune bottled up as well, so he just returns back into the lane with full mana, full HP. It's like nothing ever happened. Meanwhile, Eris gonna chase down Tims on the Mirana. Doesn't really have level 6 yet, so can't lock this Mirana down. Tims will just kind of juke him out and get back to farming in the jungle.
Yeah, again, we're just seeing very conservative plays from both sides, very controlled aggression as well, so you're not seeing anything too wild just yet. We are starting to see KP creep skip a bit, so he's at that point with the Doom where he can kind of just play far forward like this. He has his level 6 up.
Has been killed.
They are just killing each other's couriers as well.
Poor couriers. What do they ever do wrong? Top lane Gabby will commit the first chrono of the game onto Van, but doesn't really have the damage output though still. They will chase him down and they do get a nice little bash. And so eventually March will be the one to pick up the kill onto Van. So first chrono of the game will be successful though. Eris gets bashed.
Oh.
Almost doesn't jaunt away in time, but he does get out. A risky play from him.
No.
James, you're going to be a little bit careful in that mid lane as Tims was roaming around, but it looks like he will just remnant back out towards the jungle and start buying up camps there instead.
The rune of haste.
And KP could be in big trouble as Nando now has rotated with two other heroes. KP does throw his Doom out and will run straight into the Radiant side base, but there's no way he gets out of that. The kill will go to Jamesy at the very least, so the Slark doesn't pick it up, but you still do get that permanent agility his way. Meanwhile, top Van falling very low once again and does end up going down on the Legion Commander.
That is the offlane for offlane. I do believe TNC is going to be much happier with that because they do expend a lot of time from Cignal's side. They did have to waste the Doom for that though. Still, that does buy them some space across the map, and they are keeping Cignal right in check.
Amen. Going after Grims, the Stomp will connect. That'll be it. Grims will walk away safely. Now Nando will come in. Doesn't really go for the pounce onto Armel. Gives him a few hits and walks away. Looks like Nando wants to be able to finish off that Yasha quickly to, start escalating in farm. He has queued up a Shadow Blade next as well. Nando has been doing pretty well. 4.3k net worth on Slark. Just behind the DK at 5.3, so Armel is still at the top. But in terms of timings, Nando should be able to be pretty effective. In fact, he finds a courier as well on his way to the Tide jungle.
Oh, all these couriers dying, Mike. It's pretty cool.
Very sad indeed. Still Nando. Gonna run into Tims now on the Mirana, though he looks like he wants to try and go for this fight. No pounce being committed yet. He holds out on it. Had the Shadow Dance available, but looks like he just didn't want to risk it. In fact, he's still roaming around. Does find himself a Kobold. It's a bit conservative from Nando. He probably could have tried for that, but thinks better of it.
Yeah, I don't reckon he had enough damage through the pounce duration, so it probably wouldn't have been a kill anyway. The leaps would have been right there at the end of it, so it would have been a pretty hard one to pull off.
still sticking around up at that top lane. Looks like he may try for March. Now he does commit the pounce. Looks like March is a much easier target, although I say that. March just runs around the T1 tower. Moonlight Shadow comes in, and now Nando has to get out, but there's a chrono available for Gabby, and that is disastrous. They found Ban as well on the LC. They won't have the damage up, but now Era's trying to find the trade, but there's a mech on March. He will survive. And now they will chase down this puck. Dream Core comes out. Remnants in. March does get jeweled up and will give a victory away. But now they could avoid. Do they have the lockdown? They certainly do. So what started off pretty badly for the side of Cignal does turn out into a positive trade their way.
I mean, you'd really prefer not to lose your pause one for that, but you did force out the chrono. You still found that void, and you got the dual win on your Legion commander. Overall, that is a bit of a win. Put the rotation out from KP up top as well, so you've got some space around the map for a couple of other heroes to find some farm.
Tim's getting pounced on now by Nando. He does have 2 lead charges available, so Tim's will just wait till he's on the cliff. He does get away, but now the Riven's in, and yeah, Jamesy, he's found him. Nice little double damage there for Jamesy as well. It's a 6-6 now. The one saving grace for TNC is still the DK being played by Armel. He has his Blink Dagger now up as well on the DK, so I suppose he can start getting involved in these team fights. Cignal Ultra certainly isn't making it easy.
They definitely are. Cignal is still keeping pretty good in pace. It's 6-6. A 3k network lead for TNC is pretty nice to start out with. And they are still progressing in their itemization, but you can't afford to give Cignal any way back into this game. We have seen them fall back in and take the advantage later on, even if they have a bit of a rough start. So TNC has to play this consistently. They have to make sure those items come out and they get used up in a positive way.
Mango Tree being found out by Nando now. See how they do use it. I'll hold on to it for now on the backpack. So that vision from the Mango Tree is very, very valuable. Cignal. May just put on a cliff, as we've seen multiple times. But Nando does get lucky and find himself a boundary rune as well, so helping out the team a little bit. Looks like at top lane there is going to be an engagement as they jump in onto KB, though Doom is there. Arrow will not connect though on the Ember. Still Dreamcore holding everyone else back, letting the Ember get out just for now. Still he's copping a fair bit of damage as KB still chasing him down. The Doom should wear off very, very soon, and they just keep him alive. James, he somehow survives all this, but now the chrono. Gabby, he found 3 of them, and that should be enough to take all of them out, and it will be. Very nice play by TNC. It looked kind of bad for a while, but Gabby does save the day.
It's a massive win for TNC, and that should give them the tier 1 up top as well. They found some pretty big kills. The only saving grace there for Cignal was that Nando was not around, so he is still farming up. He hasn't progressed in items just yet, but he will soon.
Bot lane.
The
outpost being taken, rotations are coming in already aside, though the puck does get caught out by Armel. Now James, he just wants to get out as he doesn't have the backup here.
Radiant's middle tower.
Just commit all his remnants to do so. There is a bit of a wraparound from Gabby. If he can get like bashes, he could set up. There's one, there's 2. Nando does have Shadow Dance though. TNC weren't able to catch up in time to jump the Slark. Still TNC certainly filling the groove now. 6k net worth, 15.5 minutes in. It's starting to put into their game to throw. With the Void, he's going to balance them up. Armel farming so well as well. It's very hard to see TNC losing team fights for a very long time.
Yeah, it's certainly in their favor. They have all the tools needed so far, and Cignal, they're not quite there yet. They still are waiting for that silver edge on Nando. Still quite a ways. He also has the SNY, the Sanj queued up for that. So he could go for that as well, but 16 minutes in, a 7k net per deficit, and an advantage for TNC. They are kind of maximizing this quite well. They've taken a good amount of map control away. It is a bit of a better story than game 1. They just got to maintain it a bit more. If they use the next few chronos well, they can really start to seal out this map entirely.
Looks like Van, the space being given by TNC. He'll take the T1 top tower. Tim's will just come in, take the siege creep. Tries to go for the deny with the lead, but won't be successful in doing so. The Cignal do at least get a tower for their trouble. They'll continue farming up. They understand they are falling behind. As I say that, Nando will pick up the full Sergeant Yasha now, so certainly some extra stats for him to try and make work through these engagements.
Dire's middle tower is under
He's
attack.
going for that silver edge straight away next, and of course that is purely for that DK. Armel though, not going to be too concerned. He's going for a BKB himself now on the DK, and still is at the top of the net worth by a mile. Armel just hasn't stopped farming this game.
Yeah, he certainly hasn't, and that is going to pay off. Like, he is just escalating and escalating. He's going to have that surprise BKB, and that's going to cause major issues here for Cignal. They don't really have anything to really melt him through just yet. They are relying a lot on massive burst from the Puck, from the Elder Titan. Their physical isn't quite there. They don't have their breakup yet. So this farm that Armel is accumulating will pay off massively.
Looks like Eris is going to rush an Aghanim Scepter now on the Puck. I've seen a couple times, it just seems to be very effective in just locking everyone down during those engagements. Was a double stun, never hurt either. Cignal, again, just keeping away from TNC, not wanting to risk anything right now. Gabby, of course, has the chrono up, so it's certainly not a very good time for Cignal to try and fight. Eris gonna get caught out of position, but Gabby will not pursue. Won't bother committing the chrono, he'll just leave this Puck alone. Van as well, just hiding in the tree line, not wanting to get caught out with his TNC side. They'll both end up just trading outposts with each other. KP
Dire's middle
trying to
tower
fight back.
is under attack.
Grims will be a little bit too threatening on the Elder Titan. KP will leave it be. Though with all this time that TNC's had, they have a BKB up now on Gabby, so chances are you're not really going to be able to lock him down unless you get the jewel from the Legion Commander, and he will jump in and go ahead and try and take a Roshan. Whose Mango Tree is that, by the way?
Let me quick
Looks
check.
like it
That
was
is...
because Tim
Yeah.
took it out.
Yeah, it's off then, unless he's just playing hard mode, which is a possibility, but highly doubtful.
Well, the Roshan's going, and Cignal knows it's going down. They are slowly making their way up. Smoke will come out in preparation for the attack that's sure to come from Cignal. Of course, you can just Echo Stomp and delay this as long as possible, and that Roshan getting very low now. Cignal, when do you make your jump? Continue to scout it out. Orb is there. Another stomp to be thrown out, but it hits nobody. Gabby still has the chrono. The Roshan going down, but there's the Puck. Eris against the Aegis off the side of TNC. He will go down straight off the bat. Gabby, he committed the BKB in preparation to pick up the Aegis. Now Eris, can he get himself out? It looks like he probably will be able to, but no, there's a Dragon Tail coming out from Armel. They will be able to punish at least a little bit, but the rest of Cignal Ultra are just going to run. In fact, maybe not. They're going to go in. They found KP is going way too far forward, and now Tims, he gets chained up. He does have one leap charge, but that's all he has. They should be able to burst him down, and they get the pounce as well. Nando will take him out. Now they're trying to fight back. takedown, Grimps, but then the chrono, it's a pretty nice one. But do they have the damage output? I don't believe they do. It looks like they are going to lose the Void. They will find at least one more in the form of the ET, but he buys back. March will go down as well. And it's just a disastrous fight for the side of TNC. They just lost everything in that Roshan pit.
It was a really big play coming out from Eris, just grabbing that Aegis, forcing TNC to try to find something from that pretty wonky exchange. They do find a couple of kills. They did force a buyback out on 2 heroes. They did get the die back on Eris in the end. It cost them 4 heroes, and that is a massive gold swing going back away of Cignal now. So they've got a way back in this game. Like, you have given a bunch of stats to Nando. You've given a lot of gold back their way. You've mitigated yourself down. You've kind of revealed your BKBs. You're down to 9 seconds. And this almost reminds me of the last game. Just how that one went. How one bad fight kind of evolved into something else. TNC has to really play on point here. They can't afford to slip up like that, because Cignal is the kind of team that will take that inch and try to push it into a mile.
Yeah, well, you look at that permanent agility now, Nando. He's gone up to 6. So basically got 3 or 4 more agility stacks on that Slarky. You got to be careful about letting those build up. Nando casually just has 171 base damage right now. And,
Dire's middle tower is
he'll
under
take the mid
attack.
tier 1 tower.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Just walk away.
Gold from my food.
Regeneration.
Of course, that net worth did go a little bit long for TNC. They had a 7k net worth advantage at the time for that Roshan fight, but now they are down to about 5k. Cignal would have got a fair bit of XP out of that as well. Yeah, quite a big dive back towards Cignal's way. KP about to pick up a blink dagger now on that Doom. Just wants to make sure he can close the gap and perhaps just get the Doom off on that Ember. He is causing a lot of problems in these engagements. The Cignal smoked up. They go for Gabby would be lovely to find, and well, they get the chains off, but where's the jewel? There's the Dream Core, he commits BKB, but the jewel comes out. They've got him locked down, but where's the follow-up damage?
no.
They just left him alone.
No. Why?
There's no chrono available.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, that was a strange decision from Cignal. Like, it looked like they were ready to commit. They did smoke up. They did go in with the Ember first, and they bail and van just like that. That's rather surprising. But in the end, I suppose that's a BKB charge for a Legion commander. They didn't get the dual win, so you know you're kind of okay with Cignal. You're not going to be happy, but that could have gone so much worse, I guess.
So just a bit of miscoordination
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
from the side of Cignal Ultra. Still 15-10 TNC's way.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
They do find that bot tier 1 tower thanks to Nando, so they're still finding objectives across the map for the side of Cignal. Nando will have that silver edge up quite soon. Just needs a recipe now. TNC. Keeping down bot, trying to protect that outpost. KP blinks forward, but the Dream Core will come out from Eris. Still, the ensnare is going to be there, but that'll be the end of that. Cignal do happily back out. They'll probably just go and try to secure the other outpost on the northwest side. You do finally see that Maelstrom as well popping up on Jamesy. It took a fair bit of time because he did opt to go for the Spirit Vessel first. Now you've got plenty of magic damage coming out from this Ember. They will indeed take that outpost before the 25-minute mark.
Should help them out just a bit. At the very least, the EXP is going to be split between Dire and Radiant, although
Moonlight Shadow will be there. Grim's gonna get stunned up by Armel, but they purge off the stun Grims. The arrow will not connect. Gabby has the Chrono this time around, and the Doom will be thrown out straight on that Legion commander. Just make sure he can't throw out the Jewel.
Radiant's current
They found Grims. They even find Grims' courier. No Chrono committal, of course, from Gabby. It wasn't required.
Hey, Pride.
With that, TNC, where do you head? Well, looks like Jamesy will say bye-bye by giving him chains. Gotta be careful, Gabby still has Chrono. Does run them back, Remnant's back again, now again. And there's the Insane, they purge that off, they've got to commit to Chrono, and they do. He found both of them as well. There's not much damage going on, but the arrow does connect to help out Nando. He pounces through the void, goes after March instead. The Shadow Dance, the stun through the Shadow Dance, and Nando just wants to get the hell out now. TNC though want to move forward. They found the Legion commander once again, Van, trying to run his way out, but the ensnare's there, and it looks like Van should end up falling. And does. TNC finding another positive engagement. They'll head over to the top lane where they want to get that tier 2 tower, it seems. Perhaps even another kickoff on a hero if they can. Nando.
Jeez, that's brave.
It is very brave. He had the Dark Pack to purge off the stun, but definitely risky.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
They'll find the T2 top.
Cignal has to understand when they can force out these fights. When you know the Doom and the Chronosphere are down, that's when you should be going. This is the exact time that Cignal should be out there trying to find something to kill, because those big spells aren't around. So I would like to see a smoke come out, maybe when the Legion commander does respawn, but that hasn't really paid out too well for Cignal just yet. They still need to maximize these moments. When the Chrono's down, when the Doom's down, that's when you really want to force these issues out.
They aren't doing so quite yet. 2 smokes available on Grims, but nobody really willing to go for it. This looks like Nando's just going to go straight into a Satanic up next on the Slark. Not really the Snowball Slark performance you would hope for if you were Cignal, but he has kept up in farm very well. Currently second in net worth, only second to Armel. Both sides just switching out the outposts. TNC though maintaining an AK net worth lead. John, TNC has 100% win probability. Since the start? Excuse me?
This is a service you pay for, Mike. Yeah, no, it's showing the same thing for me.
From minute 0,
wow,
100% win probability. How does that work?
Maybe Dota Plus knows something we don't. Apparently, this was just decided from the start. Predestined. So if TNC actually drops this, then, well, what does that say about Dota Plus, Mike?
I'll have to send an email to Mr. Gaben, have a chat about this, see how the AI is working if TNC do not win. That is the first time I've ever seen that. Apparently TNC's draft is just amazing. Unbelievable, in fact, just invincible. TNC.
Dire are scanning.
Lions being caught out by Cignal. Mid and bot lane, they want to go.
They've got to push, but now the Chronosphere and Doom are up, so this is the exact wrong time to force a fight.
It certainly is. March don't get caught out in the chamber. He's just baiting for Gabby. Gabby runs in, gets a 3-man Chrono. The Slark jumped into it. Mel just gonna milk him in that Chrono, man. Still alive, still trying to run away, but he will eventually go down. And now they chase for more. They got the Doom on the Slark. They got the arrow. They found the Ember with the stun. Jamesy, can you get out? It looks like you can, thanks to the stomp of Crims. Eris, though, may not be so lucky. He does jaunt away. KP is continuing to chase, and Eris will just run to his death. Just waste as much time as possible. He's actually wasting a fair bit of time. doesn't actually jaunt, and TNC.
Oh, that was It's a good attempt.
So we have the
But-
Magnum Scepter Doom out now, by the way.
Oh, they actually went for it this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is actually pretty nasty. I think in this case, up against a Slark, that is gonna hurt a lot. It just will. So you've got this massive amount of damage, a good amount of stun, just consistently coming out now. It's gonna be annoying to deal with. Again, Cignal, they have to understand when to force these fights. You don't force it when Chronosphere and Doom are up. That's not the time to smoke up and find these kills. The moment to find those kills were about a minute and a half before that. But while it's on cooldown, that's when you should be on the hunt. But Cignal is kind of forced to take this bad timings, and it is costing them. It's a 13k net worth lead now for TNC, 31 minutes in, 11 to 21. They do smoke up, so this is a really good time if they can find someone.
They're gonna find KP. Nando,
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
they just back off. Roshan, Nando, pounces out of that. Alrighty then. They'll loop around, I suppose. They'll try again. Still, TNC, smoke on smoke action. They want straight into the slug. They want to burst him down ASAP. Nice street call comes up from Eris and down the stop as well. They're being controlled on the side of TNC. Gabby doesn't have the chrono available. It's a lot of damage so far, but nobody has dropped. They'll get KP on the Doom, but they are going to lose the Ember in the process. And in about 8 seconds, you have a chrono on, so Cignal, they want to get the hell out. Nando in a lot of trouble. He'll manage to run out of there. TNC, they might just go for a Roshan attempt. They are 2 heroes down, so it's not the safest time to try. But they are still chasing Eris on the path, and they will manage to find it. 2 for 2 trade.
It is, I'd say it's still favorable for TNC there. Like, they managed to take out that Ember. They took that fight without having to expand Chronosphere and Doom because they weren't up yet. So now they can take the next fight with Chronosphere and Doom, and you're stuck in that same cycle for Cignal. You force a fight when those spells run on cooldown, you don't find anything big. The spells are off cooldown now, you have to play safe. And it's really TNC's game right now. They're just setting the pace of this game. They're under no pressure to really close it out just yet. They have so much room to escalate in all their heroes. And they've got control on the map. Cignal, they've got to find a way to really leverage this Slark. I don't think Nando's had the biggest impact just yet.
It certainly hasn't. Of course, now you've got an MKB up on Gabby, so he's going to be hitting like an absolute truck. The Moonlight Shadow up. Looks like they try... Yeah, they're going to go for the Roshan attempt. Gabby will get started. Still, they will scout it out with the ET Spirit. They've got to try and take this fight Cignal. They don't want to allow this to go down for free, so they'll keep tabs on it once again. We saw last time Eris was able to steal the Aegis. And if I was Gabby, I'd probably make a slot right down my bag for this Aegis, because he hasn't got one yet. Roshan bashing non-stop today. Armel will jump in, but Jamesy will be okay. Dream Call now will be on to the break onto KP. Now the Earth are flying in as well. The Roshan though so down low. Eris again jumping in, but Gabby's got the Aegis this time. Fool me once, fool me twice. Chase forward now. Van Chrono, he will find the slot. Still press the attack, keeping him healthy, but not healthy enough. As Nando will end up dropping as well. Gabby, he wants more. Bashing on the man-to-man. Echo stop though, massive from Grimster, stopping them in their tracks, but Armel does not care. He wants to go high ground. The only problem is there is still a tier 2 tower.
I mean, they find all the big kills they want. They manage to take that Aegis out. They still have the Doom up. They only expand a Chronosphere. So they can still force something out. And Cignal, their backs are up against the wall here. They're just simply dropping in these fights. They have to find a way back in. I think one thing that's also causing issues is the fact that Jamesy went for the magical build. We're well past the point where that's effective. to try to retool himself or rush his level 25 and try to maybe work an Ags in
Radiant's middle tower
if he wants to be
is under
relevant.
attack.
The tier 2 tower now going to be forced down by TNC. Still errors. Jumping in KP, looking for that Doom. Dream Core will be there.
Tower is under attack.
Now Echo Step is actually quite nice. It's a nice setup. They get the chains off as well. The Void stuck Gabby. He's getting very low, but he pops the BKB. It looks like that'll be enough.
Prize is mine.
TNC do back out. The tier 2 tower, though, remains standing for Cignal, and they want to continue going for punishment. You see March on the Chen. They don't get the chains off, though. So March will be fine. Meanwhile, Nando keeping tabs onto Armel. Gets the pounce off as well as the break with the BKB TP. He's going to be there, and Armel will be perfectly fine. Stan was not in range to get duel off.
It's going to be really hard for Van to get those duels off. Anyway, he doesn't have a blink, and we've seen a lot of Legion commanders do this. They just kind of don't get the blink, which really takes away from the kit. You can't go in and disable someone straight off the bat when you have no way of closing that gap.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
$16K net worth lead for TNC though. Pretty darn good right now for this Dire side. It's very close to forcing this to a game 3.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Gabby now to start forcing down that bot tier 2 tower.
Radiant's
it.
bottom tower has fallen.
Cignal just kind of running around the map trying to push out the mid creep wave. TNC though, they have the chrono up, they made the just keep going to tier 3. That's exactly what they do. Mel pops the Dragon Fall. He has a Satanic available if he gets in trouble. We've seen this before with these DKs. They take these towers so darn quick. Nando shows himself on the slot.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
But it looks like they aren't really willing to commit to defending these racks. They'll fortify though. Now Doom will be there. Who they found? It is actually going to be Eris on the puck. So no Dream Call, no slippery puck in this team fight.
Radiant's bottom.
TNC, now going after the Ember. It's actually a lot of damage, and now the Bruno as well. He caught the Ember, get rid of it. Grim's kind of just standing there chilling out right now. Nando trying to fight back, back onto Gabby. He will heal up full HP. The TNC is still very healthy, and now they come back in. Armel, he gets Dragon Tail off. Nando trying to run. Gabby not there in time. But it's okay for them, as they'll head off to mid. There is still a tier 2 tower remaining in the mid lane, but it looks like they should be able to take it down. Or maybe not. Backdoor protection, it won't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Has fallen.
Oh boy, TNC, they're just really finding every single thing here. They take out that bot set of racks really cleanly. They just back off. The rest of the high ground is open now as well. No more outer towers left for Cignal. And their shrines are going to be taken out fairly soon. They still have that one shrine down, but I'm sure TNC won't leave that up for long. 13 to 27 at around 39 minutes in. 23k net worth lead for TNC. Dota Plus still 100% for TNC. Just dead 100 right from the start. Minute 0 TNC. Like, gosh, is it because they won a major? Is it immediately biased? Like, what is that?
We'll find out, sir. Cignal gonna smoke up. Armel, this could be a big pick, but no, he blinks at the perfect time. There was actually a sentry who was scouting out Nando, and they missed their opportunity. Again, this was a moment where Gabby didn't have the chrono up.
Radiant are
TNC, they might go for a smoke even without the chrono. They just don't care. They'll move in. Cignal, can you pull off this team fight? They're so far behind. Any victory would mean a lot of golden XP going their way. Well, Armel jumps in, straight with the stun, onto that LC, now the arrow as well. He does manage to force staff away, just barely, but Armel can't really get the damage out as the stomp is there. Meanwhile, a Doom in the backlines. They have found what looks like the Slark, and they do take him out. Since one gone, the main source of damage now, Eris, going to be chased down by Armel. He'll get the kill onto 2 now. James, he's going to be very careful to die on this Spirit. He tries to remnant away, but Armel is still on the chase. He'll remnant forward even more, but they found the backlines and got Van on the LC. It's a 3-for-0 trade without the Chrono being used, and Gabby will now have it up.
That's a very scary prospect for Cignal. They need to somehow hold this high ground up against a Chronosphere without a buyback on their Slark and still somehow win out. And at the very least, James still has buyback if he does die. It's a rough time for Cignal.
Radiant's top tower is falling.
TNC will get to work
Top barracks are under
on that top racks. That'll be the
Radiant's
secondary racks of the game going down.
I am not so easily.
There's only one left in the mid lane. They'll buy back on Van. TNC. So they're going to go ahead and push in that mid creep wave a bit. There's no real need for them to rush, but they have the Chrono, so there's not really a reason for them to back off either. They do have the Doom up in 25
Radiant's
seconds on
bottom
KP as well, so
shrine
perhaps they
is
just
under
wait that out. Go for the shrine first instead.
Radiant's bottom shrine has fallen.
So the Satanic is now coming out onto Gabby as well. The only thing you're really lacking is an Aegis, but there is still a bit of time before Roshan is up. In fact, I say that, but it's actually a very quick Roshan, 15 seconds away. Cignal cannot afford to allow it to go down.
Then
It's so hard to fight, like 30k net worth lead for TNC. How do you even fight into that? We're about to find out as Grims will get caught out on the Elder Titan. All you can hope for now is a defense from Cignal Ultra. As TNC make their way to that Roshan pit, the big man is up.
invisibility.
They'll get started.
Dire structures are fortified.
Cignal will not be there to contest at all. So it's a free Roshan going the way of TNC. It looks like Jamesy was in a little bit of trouble, but he will run it back towards his base.
That gives Armel his Ags as well from the Roche. So we've got the Black Dragon.
Black Dragon is out. This is a very, very painful experience coming from Cignal. It is very, very hard to stop that Black Dragon. As we have found out over the past couple days. There it is once again.
Radiant's middle
Up and
tower
down the
is
cliff.
under attack.
Backdoor protection, that's very funny. They are going to jump in though. Nando gets started on the Void. Does absolutely nothing, but Dream Call is in the back by Eris. Now March also being taken down by James, but he's not down quite yet. Now who they found there? It is Tips on the Mirage. That's a good start. Now the Earthspit are flying through. KP losing half his HP, and Armel though just man fighting back. He'll take down the Elder Titan and down the Chrono. Gabby found 3 of them after respawning with the Aegis, and it looks like that may make a game. The buybacks are coming out, but can they really defend this final lane of racks? It doesn't look like they can, as they will lose the LC now with no buyback available.
Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
And that is Mega Creeps coming up for TNC. They head straight towards the tier 4s. The GG has been called by Nando, and that will mean we go to a game 3 for this lower bracket decider.
Yeah, that's a good sign of life coming out from TNC. They played this one much better. I guess Dota Plus was right, Mike. That was 100% TNC from minute 0. We'll see whether or not Cignal can turn that around in game number 2. in game number 2.
Radiant's bottom shrine has fallen.
Invisibility!
Blessings. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
Could be worse. Could be worse. Wait, no, it couldn't. The mark.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen. Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen. Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen.
Wicked sick. Wicked sick.
Easy breezy.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Double damage! Just what I needed. Nightmare continues.
TNC Predators turn to ban.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are here for the decider between TNC Predator and Cignal Ultra. My goodness, John. I'm static in the background. It is MLP Dota and John Expired. John, how are you feeling, sir?
Good.
5 seconds
It
remaining.
is getting a bit late, but this is the last match to decide who gets to go to the majors. TNC, Cignal Ultra, two Filipino teams
Turn to
facing off. One game left. Major champions, team that never went to majors. Face to face, dead even, 1-1. It's gonna be a very, very tight match here. Both teams really hungry to get back in there. And no matter who wins, I think you're gonna have a lot of people who are happy and a lot of people who'd be upset. So it's a no-win situation overall. Like, you will have a bunch of people really mad that TNC wins. You will have a bunch of people really mad that Cignal wins. But either way, one of these guys will have to go to the major, and I'm actually really keen to see how far both teams can push each other. It's been a tight set of matches so far.
5
We'll see whether or not
seconds remaining.
either side can really make this one a convincing one, or if we're gonna be facing one of the closest matches we've seen in close qualifiers to date.
Yeah, absolutely. Can already see TNC Predator. They go straight back into that Doom. So happy with KP's performance in that Doom. He was doing a pretty darn good job. Very disruptive in those team fights, and well, just go ahead and pick it up again. If it's not broken, you don't fix it. course, they did also ban out the gyro again, so just respect banning the gyrocopter, not wanting to have to deal with it with Cignal Ultra.
Dire team pick.
And I wonder what Ultra will do about it. Well, they'll go into the void. Fair enough. I do like this
like
a
that.
lot more than the gyrocopter.
NC Predators.
Oh, yeah.
turn-
I like this combination coming out from Cignal. This is what we sort of expected. The Void and Titan do come out into play, and that is super potent. Like, you are picking it into the Doom. We have seen that happen before. As long as you toss a hero that will cause the Doom to second guess whether or not to go for that spell use, you're still gonna get what you want here as Cignal. So I like the pick so far. It is a good shakeup. TNC, they go back to that Mirana, and we have seen Tims do a lot of work on that. We'll see how else they tie up this draft.
Certainly, the Void Elder Titan,
Predators
beautiful
turn to
combination.
ban.
TNC Predator going back to the Doom Mirana. Hims so consistent on this Mirana. Been doing a fantastic job overall. They just can't pick another hero for the man. He has to just keep spamming Mirana over and over again because it's so darn good. And well, one more ban for either side before we see where these drafts are going to be headed. We do see the Naga Siren and the Lina being banned out from either side. Interesting that TNC's been banning the Lina, considering Armil has been playing it so much. But they may just opt to give them the DK again if it's not banned here by Cignal Ultra.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised. That hero has really
5
just done a lot of
seconds
work.
remaining.
There's so many teams. TNC, they made it go really well when they run it, so I wouldn't be too surprised if they would go back to that. It's just a very stable core to have. It's not gonna outright lose a lane ever. It's very hard to bully out. And you're just gonna find that farm as you progress. You can find a utility. You can melt the tier 1s very fast, farm up, and just get bigger. You have some great scaling into the late game as well. The Ags upgrade gives you a lot more. So there is a lot of value in that pick. Cignal doesn't ban it out as well. Perhaps Cignal goes for it. Like, there is that possibility, but I wouldn't be too surprised if TNC went for it after this.
Does seem like it'd be decent for Cignal. I mean, they've got the Void. The DK could just stay out of the Chrono. They still have the option for the Venge as well if they want to go that. But
Oh,
I like this. The Skywrath Mage comes out. And that's something we don't see very often. But it does pop out in conjunction with the Void and the Elder Titan. It is quite potent. And now if TNC do want to go for the DK, there is a direct counter in that Skywrath.
yeah, it's gonna be a very painful time. Play that DK, you're just gonna melt right through. TNC do pick up the Beastmaster, so now you've got 2 tools to stop the Faceless Void from having a very seamless Chronosphere. I like that pick from TNC. It's really focusing on that Void, but he is key to most teams. When you pick that Void, he's gonna be the center of attention. You're gonna be playing around that Chrono every single time.
But this does mean that the Doom's playing support then, right? So it's a March Doom and it's a KP special on the Beastmaster. Cignal Ultra.
Yeah, but that's kind of that's counteracted by the Abaddon.
Very nice pick by Cignal Ultra.
It's like one decision counteracted by another. So you have the support Doom, and that can be quite rough, but you do have Cignal. They've got the Abaddon. That one has had a bit of a rough time as well.
Templar Assassin.
You can protect your Faceless Void a bit better. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not, with the strong supports that Cignal does have, whether or not this Abaddon is going to have a better time, because quite frankly, overall, it has not had a good time.
No, it definitely hasn't. Of course, TNC Predator goes straight into the TA, so there's our Mills hero popping up.
10 seconds remaining.
We haven't seen much of the TA. It has been very effective
5
in the
seconds
games that we
remaining.
have seen it pop out. Cignal Ultra are yet to also choose their mid lane, so they can definitely go for the Ember Spirit counter if they do wish. Of course, there is still one ban for TNC, so they could always get rid of it, but I imagine they already expect the Ember Spirit to come out for Cignal. Unless they were planning to run a Skywrath Mage core.
Predators turn to ban.
I don't think that'll be the case though.
It would be a bit rough. I don't think that would work out too well. I feel like the hero is still going to be really good in this line. Of course, natural combination with the Void. You're just going to be able to do that, dish that damage out you need early on very quickly. So there's a lot of value in that. I like the ban out from TNC. That Ember Spirit would have caused a lot of issues for their TA. So this is just giving Armel that much of a better time down mid. We'll see how else they close out this draft. It does feel like they will need a safe laner, of course. We are looking at Gabby's here that still has to pop out.
10 seconds remaining.
I mean, they could go for the safe choice in that lifesteal we've been seeing,
Dire
but
team.
it doesn't work well up against the Void. They'll go for the Chaos Knight.
Okay. I like that. Have any real way of clearing out those illusions this time around from Cignal? You can really melt the backline in this case. Sky is just going to be very vulnerable to Chaos Knight. You have enough team fight and control from the rest of your team that you're not going to be too worried.
10
You
seconds
do require a
remaining.
bit of farm early on, but you can definitely buy space for that
5
TA as long as you play
seconds remaining.
aggressively. The key thing is you have to play aggressively with your Doom and Beastmaster, find those early pickoffs, keep them busy, away from your TA, while she's still farming up. You will still need maybe an early Midas or early Armlet, depending. Once you have that, you should be pretty active on the map. I like that pick. Cignal, they've got to pick a mid laner now that can deal with that Chaos Knight. I guess the OD is still in the pool. That is something that they could fall back to, and it would certainly play out quite nicely up against TA, up against the CK. Pretty much everyone is just going to melt to a hero like that, so a lot of value if they go for that OD. They
You may
go
now
with a Timber
select
instead.
your heroes.
Fair enough, right? Like, it eats strength heroes quite well, so it's gonna cause havoc up against that Chaos Knight early on at the very least. It's gonna be interesting to see that laning though.
I mean, in the end, with the reactive armor, Armel shouldn't be able to do too much, right? Like, even with the Meld Deso, although it's great, the Timber is always going to have the reactive armor to kind of combat that. We've been seeing the Timber banned out so much over the past couple days. This is the first time we've had the pleasure of seeing it pop out in a game, and it's the last game of the whole close qualifier for SEA. I don't know. It should be interesting. It definitely does do well against the Chaos Knight. Mind you, you are picking this into a Doom, so that could be somewhat problematic. Of course, like you mentioned, in the laning stage, Armel should really have no problems.
Yeah, it's one of those times where we see that Timbersaw mid again. I think we've seen it a couple of times before. I'm not completely fond of it. It does work out nicely, I think, with the spacing changes as well to mid lane. I'm not sure how much flexibility you have as a Timbersaw nowadays to really zip in and out as the game goes on in that lane, at least in the laning phase, of course. We'll see. The one key thing, at the very least, for the Timbersaw is it comes online fast. It doesn't require farm compared to the TA, who will kind of just rice farm come around 10 to 20 minutes. They're just going to be snapped for a bit until the Dezo and Blinks up, at the very least. So you should expect a bit more activity from Cignal, and you should expect TNC to take it easy from Armel. It will be down to Gabby and KP to pick up the pace there, to buy them time. So one of the key things for TNC is giving Gabby that good start. We have seen CKs fall behind before, and they do not flash farm well. So once you go behind, you're just really behind for pretty much the rest of the game.
Certainly are. We had an experience with that the other day where it just seemed like they could never get this CK online. We'll also have to keep an eye out on the build of Gabby. Whether he does go for the armlet into the Heart Rush, which we saw the other day, and it just didn't work out. Of course, a lot of pressure on KP. It's not going to be an easy game for him. Plenty of raw targets he needs to go for, but you do have to watch out for that Abaddon Aphotic Shield. Can just purge that stun off.
Miles away.
So he does play this hero quite a lot. A lot of pressure between both these teams to try and pull off this win. Cignal Ultra, though, definitely feeling much more pressure. I mean, this is their first DPC event they're fighting for. It's the closest they've ever gotten, I believe.
The battle begins.
Well, they'll get started. Looks like top lane. They are actually going on to Nando right now, and Nando will be able to time walk all that damage off. Grims will be there anyway, just in case. Of course, we saw last game, or the game before, I believe, Grims was on the Elder Titan, and he was quite scary. You've got to be very careful with that Astral Spirit. He did manage to get first blood on Tim's just by right-clicking. So we'll see if Tim's tries to avoid it this time or falls for the same trap.
You really don't want to be copying those right clicks from a hero like this. And Grims is trying to set himself up there, but looks like Tim's knows better now. He's staying a bit further back, so not gonna have that silly slap fest we had earlier on.
Mid lane, Jamesy up against Armel. Should really just favor Armel for quite a while, as he could just spam refraction. Jamesy won't be able to do much about it. In those reactive armor charges at level 1 really isn't much at all. You can already see Armel really applying the pressure to this Timbersaw. In fact, he's almost got him down. Jamesy has to be very careful. He does commit a lot of whirling deaths towards Armel as well, so he does lose quite a bit of HP. Of course, bot lane, Gabby on the CK will be there with March on the Doom, and they have Van and of course Eris there on the Skyrat. Van playing that core battle role, it seems. Doesn't have too much of a hard time in this lane, farming up as the Abaddon. There's not really much that can shut him down, especially while he's got his Skyrat there. But speaking of the Skyrat, he has to be careful as that chain lightning that March has taken from the neutral creep does a hell of a lot of damage. But while we're talking about that, Jamesy does end up losing his life to Armel in the mid lane.
That is to be expected, right? This is something we've been talking about since the draft. Timbersaw is just not going to have a very good time up against that TA down mid. And Armel certainly does abuse that spell kit to really just force Jamesy to go back to base.
Cheap spell as well, 50 gold for 140 damage, and it bounces on the Doom. Top lane Grimm's falling very low on the Elder Titan now. KP going up with Tibbs, and they do find the kill. Very nice play. The Void will be forced to time walk some damage off. Nando not having the greatest time in the world. It's just very hard up against Beastmaster. You've got those balls there, but as well as that, Tibbs is always around as well to dish out the damage. And speaking of,
Radiant's
look down to that bot lane where March almost goes down to the Doom. And Eris, rather than chasing the Doom kill, went for the courier of March.
That actually hurts March a lot more. He does not have the mana to TP home, and he probably is just going to be stuck in this lane unless he goes for a suicide.
Well, Eris does end up killing himself off. Unfortunately for him, March does get the gold for that. So
Dire's
what do you do? Just need to deny himself off one way or the other. Armel.
are scanning.
I mean, both heroes are trading pretty uncontested in this mid lane. I don't know which one's more of a concern though. Seems like giving the TA way too much farm early on is going to be problematic.
Dire's
Then again, a Timbersaw can be very, very painful. Tim's, speaking of painful, finds a very, very important courier pickup. A lot of Nando's items were on there, and he's going to not have them for a couple minutes now.
It does seem to be part of TNC's game plan to really just hunt down those couriers, make it harder for Cignal to ferry out their items to their cores, and that certainly does hurt in the laning phase, especially if you find something big like the safe laner in mid.
Jamesy almost goes down to Armel, though Eris does come in to try and help out. He still tries for Jamesy, but Jamesy with those reactive armor stacks has healed up quite a bit. Armel will use refraction and will survive another day. Salves up.
I saw minding from miles away.
Armel gets the ult chat. Eris will give him a concussive shot back. Jamesy remaining on very, very low HP. Doesn't really seem to mind anyway. Does finally back off out of the mid lane for a bit though.
Time is mine.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Bounty runes already going to the way of Cignal Ultra. Gabby does manage to find one for the team. TNC not really prioritizing those bounty runes at the moment. We'd rather just continue sticking in the lane as they are pretty much winning every single lane. could make the argument that the mid lane is still an even trade between Armel and James, even Armel has found himself slightly ahead.
We're reaching that point as well where the TA can just slip into that jungle and farm up a bit more. Armel does have a 1-level lead over Jameson, and it's that point where Timbersaw can melt through the refractions with Chakram now, but we're not seeing the silly Timbersaw come out just yet.
It does take a bit more time than that for the silly Timbersaw.
Is under attack.
Still, he's just prioritizing farm for now. He's got the Soul Ring up. He wants to disrupt Armel in the jungle and does manage to steal a creep away from the TA. Just return straight back into the lane. Still, Armel's net worth not really suffering too much. He's almost at 3.2k, well ahead of anybody else. He's just juggling between that jungle and, of course, the lane. Look up at that top lane. Nando on the Void has really been struggling. 2k net worth, nothing to write home about. KP has been making his life very, very hard.
This is going to be very hard for Cignal to recover from. Oh, and aggro lands him as well. But it's going to be hard to recover from this one. The Void farms okay. Fastest in the world as a flash farmer. You can still make it work, but you really want either a Maelstrom or a Midas to accelerate that farm for you and also enable you to make use of that early chrono. Without any of those coming out, heck, without even a power treads up on Nando, his level 6 is really not going to be as impactful as you'd hope.
Top lane, they are going to try and gank KP now. He already took that T1 tower. Concussive shot does come out. They should be able to get the Echo Stomp off, though no, they don't really try. And surprisingly enough, they actually leave KP alone.
You know, Mike, I want to point something out as well, just really quick. Check the win probability. It's now, it's just a die. I think it's busted for the die right now for us, for some reason.
All right, this one I don't know about. 100% for Cignal Ultra.
Radiant's middle
Well,
tower is under
we'll
attack.
see if Gabe is correct this time, Johnny. He was correct last time. So, I'd be impressed if he was. Armel, double damage rune on the TA now. Has a nice little trusty shovel for himself.
Yeah, I like this item build-up from Gabby as well. He is going for the armlet, so he wants to be active early on. This is exactly what you want to see, especially when you're playing with that TA who will require some farm time. I mean, even the progression towards that blink is going to be pretty fast. He's just about 700 gold away, but you'd still want the Desolator on top of that anyway, and that just means you are going to have to buy some time there.
Gabby's been farming pretty well. Like, they haven't put any pressure on this man. It's unlike the last time we saw a CK where there was a lot of pressure. Gabby just free farming right now. Van hasn't been able to do anything on the Abaddon to stop him. And Van's farm has struggled a hell of a lot. 2.7k net worth. Just behind his own Void at 2.8. TNC has complete control over this game so far.
Radiant's middle tower.
Jamesy at least finds a courier off March, I guess. Don't think March will mind too much.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Van. Ganks up here, but Nando is there with Jamesy. They have the chrono available. They want to kill off the CK.
Oh no.
But that chrono is not the one they needed, and March won't mind dying for that. Oh my, that's a big mistake. Nando will stick around though, will steal some creeps off Gabby, but
Dire's structures are fortified.
he's not going to be happy about that one.
Oh, definitely not. You can see he was going for the greedy play, trying to catch both. Just kind of misses out on it. And unfortunately enough, that does mean that the spell isn't as successful as you'd want. They do get that support kill. it's still not ideal. We always talk about that timing around the first chrono. And you do, you know, just getting a kill is kind of good, but it doesn't feel like it's enough.
Looks like Gabby's starting to get active across the map. Grim's going to be the target. He does go down to Armel, and now Jamesy trying to punish back. They'll get the tier 1 as well. Looks like Jamesy may lose his life here. He's really not as tanky as you would hope. 24 active Rihanna stats. It will be enough, or maybe not. Armel can't quite take him out. They will back off. I mean, they've got the T1, they got a kill. Now Gabby rotates to the bot lane where they get the Doom off on the Void, and March actually escapes with his life intact. They won't find the Void though.
Oh, the arrow? Ooh.
Tim's trying to sneak one while they weren't watching. Won't find it. Good attempt though. So a 4-1 though. 4K net worth lead for TNC 11 minutes in. Pretty damn good lead. And these towers, they're still melting. I mean, KP's still forcing in this top lane. Van's been forced to try and defend that. The bot lane's now being pushed in by Gabby. And this is just buying more space for Armel, who already has the blink up, and who have the Desolator up pretty darn soon.
TNC is really hitting all their timing here. Every single thing that should be happening is happening. In fact, it's going really fast. The fact that that tier 2 up top isn't very safe, the fact that the Timbersaw can't just go between that tier 2 and tier 3 to find that farm, or you're just not getting the maximum potential from that Timbersaw. What you tend to see is, at this point in time, you're big enough, you maybe have a pipe, or you know, you maybe have a Vanguard or Hood of Defiance, and then you just play between tier 2, tier 3. Annoy the hell out of someone by shoving in the lane that way. It's not happening just yet. They're forced to respond to TNC's movements.
Nice stomp out onto 2. Do they follow up with it though? No, they definitely do not. Nando does have the chrono available. He wants to try and go for another hero pick off. They'll just force down that bot T1. I don't believe TNC will even try to defend this. There's really no need to.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Just let it go down. Nando will eventually take it for himself. While that's happening though, TNC will find something even better in the Roshan. And with Armel there, with the melt strikes, and with KP with all his creeps, it is a very, very quick process.
Not only that, but Armel had a very fortunate double damage rune, so they do take that Roche uncontested, widening their net worth gap to 6k in favor of TNC. 4th 1, 13 minutes in. Van, I don't think you want to be there.
No, certainly not. He does have borrowed time. KP does have Raw if he really wants to admit it, and he will, but there are TPs coming in. Eris trying to help out. Armel is not afraid though, and he will go in and clean him up, and now Eris could be in trouble. Armel, not really much mana to play with. He does have the Aegis, so does have a secondary life if he wants to push the limits. They will not, however. They'll be happy with that. And I can't blame them. There's no need to overextend. They're just finding everything they need. If this game keeps up the way it is, Cignal Ultra could be losing very, very quickly.
Dire's top tower.
It's really down to the fact that Cignal has not been able to maximize their combo. We haven't seen a big chrono with the Earth Splitter, with the Mystic Flare really coming out just yet. Cignal, they need to make it happen. That's what their draft is all about. It's just not happening.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Farm suffering all over the place for Cignal. Like, Nando's still trying to get that Maelstrom up. You have it relatively soon. Suppose you could make something happen, but you could look at Armel. They're so up now. BOT's come up on KP, so he has high mobility. Of course, Gabby has the armlet, and he's going for what looks like an Echo Saber up next. Bot lane, they are going to engage onto Jamesy, who is melting to Armel. They will Aphotic shield him up. Doom will be there on the abandoned now. Chrono, it is pretty darn nice with the Mystic Flare. They'll take down KP on the Beastmaster. They try for March. They've lost Grims though. Now it looks like they may want to back out. Will Cignal Ultra though. Jamesy is taking a lot of damage off that CK, and not really being too phased by it either.
Prize is mine.
So although it kind of looked good for TNC, they do end up losing out 2-1. And you're starting to see Jamesy on that timber, just a little bit too tanky for Gabby to try and take out.
Certainly is. I think that's going to be an issue for the next at least 5 to 10 minutes, specifically on Jamesy. That's really just a moment when Timbersaw is nigh unkillable. Once that Guardian Greaves us up as well, it's just going to be obnoxious, right? So Jamesy should be able to get a little bit more done.
Eris is down. Mel does find the kill, but it may cost him the Aegis. He will refract up. He's surrounded though by quite a few heroes, but TNC is coming in to try and help out. There's the Aegis going. Echo Stomp is not going to be there in time. The Roar from KP will push him away, but Armel still copying too much damage. But no, the Glimmer Cape will save him though. No, Nando, he does find it in the end. Now Tim's just trying to get the hell out of there. And Armel got a little bit greedy. Though March, he will find a trade in the form of Grims.
Invisibility.
Can they punish further? Cignal still trying to run away. March, who are you aiming for? He's going after Nando, and here comes Gabby on the CK. Still though, it's a 1-for-1 trade once again, but they do find the Void. And for some reason, they decided to drop a mango tree in the middle of all that. It does get chopped down by KP immediately. The man hates mangoes.
Well, in the end, it is still a slightly more favorable trade for Cignal. Just taking out that TA is still a pretty big win for Cignal, just because TA is worth a lot more. So Cignal gonna be pretty happy about that. That does let our Void finish up Strum as well. Gonna be doing a bit more damage. Overall, speed up the farm. And Cignal, you know, they're the guys now with the draft that plays around that timer. Void ultimate gonna be up in about 15 seconds. They need to make something happen that time span. They need to find a big kill, find a big pickoff, and just keep doing that every single time. I think if Cignal can keep that up, this deficit of 6k is not going to matter too much in a few minutes' time.
Mel looking for more already. He just respawned up. He wants some heroes to take out. He won't get lucky enough to find anybody quite yet. Nando on the low ground has Chrono up.
Dire's bottom tower has been denied.
We'll see the Echo Saber now up on Gabby's CK, so a lot more damage output on him. You can really see the urgency in TNC this game. They just aren't willing to wait. They want to keep forcing fights and making it very hard for Cignal Ultra. Gabby forcing the creep wave towards that tier 3 tower. Jamesy will be there to defend on the Timbersaw. Cignal just sticking as a team, not splitting up, not giving any kind of leeway to TNC to try and get a pick off. TNC do still hold the net worth lead at 6k. Mel at 10k net worth right now on the TA. Trying to go into that BKB. And you'd imagine once the BKB's up on TNC, they may actually just start forcing the tier 3 towers.
Definitely nothing holding them back from getting that done. So just waiting out on that one big item. Of course, you have to respect Cignal. They still have that team fight up. They do have the Chronosphere up, every single spell up, and they are just clumped up as 5. They understand that they don't have the map control to take these fights to TNC, but if they can somehow bait TNC in, their counter fight is going to be really good.
Well, 20-minute
Dire's top
about to
tower
hit.
is under
Of course,
attack.
both teams going to start fighting over outposts. Nice arrow from Tims. But they will still get the outpost. But look at TNC immediately trying to force in that T2 tower. Sometimes it's a trade you have to make. Do you want the outpost? Do you want your tower to remain? Luckily for Cignal, TNC does not have any creeps in the mid lane to really try and force that tower down. So they will be forced to just push in that top creep wave once again and just maintain the Dire control rather than control over the Dire jungle.
Almighty money. generation.
For the hunt.
Cignal gonna smoke up. Again, Chrono is up. They're ready to fight now. Be massive if they could find a big pick-off like Armel. But he does have his BKB up now, so he may be willing to fight as long as that Chrono is not available. It is, though.
Dire's top tower.
He's making their way towards Armel. He does run the opposite way now, so it looks like they will completely avoid any kind of engagement.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Now TNC once again in that Dire side jungle.
Shadows take us.
Could be dangerous for them, but they pop the Moonlight Shadow. It looks like they want to try and force a fight. Nando. No, he does get caught out, and they caught March as well, but the arrow connects from Tim. Still, they do get the TA kill. That's a massive deal for the side of Cignal Ultra as they try to chase KP. So they will lose out on that, but they find something even better in the form of Gabby. That CK just didn't seem to do anything. Ooh, just missing.
Radiant's top tower.
And Cignal win a massive team fight. They got both the position 1 and 2 of TNC.
That's some really good game sense coming out from Cignal. Just having the dust on hand, popping it right then, allowed them to figure out they were being rotated on. And they just landed really good Chrono. It looked a bit wonky when the arrow hit, but everyone else is still outside to follow up the damage. Immediately take out Armel, who is the main damage right now. And once he was gone, it was just very easy for Cignal to clean up. So that's exactly what they need to do and what they need to keep doing. Just try to find those kinds of fights. Eventually you will turn the tide to yourselves. You've also got a lot of key items flying out now on a few cores. Mjolnir was up for Nando in that last fight, and now they have Jamesy with their Guardian Greaves, so he's going to be much harder to kill off. The entire team is just going to be that much tankier, and that's going to make it much harder for TNC to try to break these heroes down.
It certainly is. Still, Armel definitely wants to take advantage of that 10-second BKB charge he has while the Chrono is not available. He's got about a minute to make use of that. Could be in the Roshan pit though, which is respawning in about 10 seconds, and TNC are already ready for it. And I wonder if Cignal Ultra will try to contest without that Void ultimate. Definitely doesn't seem like the wise decision, but you don't want to give that Aegis away for free. Well, they'll get started.
What are you hiding?
Cignal don't really have vision around the Roche pit either, so they may not be aware this is happening. They do scan it out. It may be way too late though, and yeah, it definitely is. Roshan is already gone. The Aegis will go the way of Armel, and the Cheese will go the way of Gabby. I suppose on the bright side, they will have the Chrono up if they do try to force a tier 2 tower. But they'll smoke first, TNC. Nando does get spotted by Gabby. Moonlight Shadow now to be popped. Nando seems to understand they're around him somewhere, and he does go back in towards his base. So nothing will come out of the smoke or the Moonlight Shadow.
Radiant's bottom tower.
See, again, gonna have to wait for the right opportunity. This Gabby will try to force in that bot tier 2, but there could be an engagement up top. They will will be fighting over that outpost at the 25-minute mark. Cignal going to try and take it now, and they do grab it, but Armel jumps straight in after Eris. He doesn't find the kill quite yet, and he did use that BKB very early on. They do get it in the end. Now the Doom on the tip, but not allowing him to do anything throughout this team fight. Where is the Void? Not around at the moment. He's still running in. He has the Chrono. Will he use it though? Raw comes out again with the Timber, but there is the Chrono. He found 3 of them. It doesn't seem like it's going to be good enough. There's no damage output. The Mystic comes down. They'll find at least the Aegis. Earthquake doing a lot of damage, but still Cignal trying to go after Gabby on that CK. They just don't have the damage. They'll go after March instead on the Doom. It's a much easier target. And who's next? KP, the closest target to them. Do they have the lockdown? James can get in there with the Chakram. TNC is still trying to just outrun them. They could try and turn. It doesn't look like they're interested. Melt strike to Nando, and that's going to be it. That fight, it was a 2-for-1 trade. It was a buyback on Eris and a dieback for that matter on Eris, but it still seems to go Cignal Ultra's way.
I'm sure they don't mind too much. They managed to take out that Aegis. They managed to force out a couple of spell usages from TNC as well. Sure, you expend the Chronosphere there, but you've got a bit of a time where TNC, they don't have the Doom, they don't have the Phantasm. They are a bit vulnerable as well, so you can try to force something out, particularly once Eris is up. He's going to be a bit of your magic damage coming in these fights, and once that's settled, you could probably at least find a pick-off if you really wanted to.
Under attack.
Quickening charms popping out. Cooldown's gonna be lower. Looks like again Armel going into the dire side jungle, being very aggressive with his positioning. He's getting very close to a butterfly now. See Nando with that Lincoln Sphere, trying to protect himself from that Roar, or the Doom for that matter. He'll be going for a butterfly up next as well.
Is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Just gonna cop an arrow. Won't really matter though, there's no follow-up to it. Cignal Ultra should be able to get this tier 2 tower very, very easily.
Dire's top tower.
By the time they're done, they'll have the Chrono back up, so
Radiant's bottom tower.
they could try and force another
Radiant's
smoke,
bottom tower has fallen.
or just defend their top tier 3 tower, which was being pushed in by KP once again. TNC, I mean, they've still got a 9k net worth lead, but I'm not sure how concerned they should be. Gabby, as a CK, it does tend to drop off out those later stages of the game, whereas the Void just doesn't.
It's gonna be a bit rough. Like, he is rushing that heart, and we have seen CKs go for that heart, somehow still end up having minimal impact. Right now, Gabby's damage is still pretty darn good, and he is still managing to at least burst down his squishier heroes. He isn't doing so well up against Jamesy anymore, and even Nando, if you don't stun lock him, he's basically just he has enough time between time walks to still fight. So you really got to watch out. There is a slight timer here for TNC on that CK at the very least. Arnell should be able to maintain relevancy into the late game. The bulk of damage as this game goes on.
We do have another pause, this time from Cignal Ultra. Bit of pocket loss.
No,
Pocket loss.
line. He's losing his pocket.
That's not good.
Yeah. James what's up? That is pocket in Tagalog. So,
Thank
just
you,
making
John.
fun.
Cignal Ultra still behind. We'll have a look at that win probability, and it is still apparently 100% their way. So Cignal Ultra
It's bugged out.
There's nothing to worry about for Cignal Ultra. They've got this game in the bag.
Yeah, Gabe has declared it so.
Yes.
TNC will have to play in the minors.
Absolutely.
And that's it.
I saw that.
Oh, there you go. They're
ending from
resetting your
miles
internet.
away.
Or it's PLDT.
Now.
That would have been pretty terrible. My line has been consistently cutting. I believe I have been dropping packets as well. Like, I haven't been able to listen in too well, which is fine. I mean, there's a typhoon happening. I can't completely blame them. So, you know, the lines are going to be torn up, which is okay. And in this one case, I can be understanding, Mike.
Very good, John. Good to hear it.
Just for now. Not tomorrow.
Absolutely not. Hopefully, Cignal Ultra, or rather Nando, has found his pockets. Definitely important to have those pockets available during these games. Jamesy, last one to reconnect.
You know, I would love to be a fly in the wall here and just hear what both teams are going through.
I mean, it's a
It
lot of
must be
pressure.
tense. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
you've got that. You've got, you know, national pride is a bit on the line. I mean, at the very least, everyone... Wow, it must be really bad if everyone's disconnecting that much.
Oh, it's a typhoon.
But...
I imagine typhoon bad.
Yeah, it tends to be. I've never experienced them because in my part of the country, in my part of the Philippines, we actually don't get typhoons passing through.
Well, aren't you privileged?
Yeah, it's kind of... Yeah, I mean, it's nice to not have that. We do have earthquakes, though, much more often, which they're not like earthquakes that do wreck buildings. So, although the past two ones have wrecked a couple of buildings in different cities, my city's not quite in this. You know, it's not the what you call it, center point? No, what do you call that term, Mike? Do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
No idea, John.
Of course not.
No idea.
Of course not. How could I expect you to know?
Well, I'd have to be listening to know.
That's fair enough.
Just joking. This is a bit of an unfortunate pause, John. Third game, final game, and Cignal Ultra. I mean, this is not the way you want to have your last game of the qualifiers going, especially considering this is the game that decides whether to go to the major or not.
Yeah, it's just pivotal.
Neither team really wants to lose like the momentum that they were having in that game, and the more time you spend not playing, the more time you kind of lose that groove that you're in. But that's more unfortunate for TNC, I would argue, who are currently ahead by 10k net worth.
It's gonna be really interesting to consider how well how well these teams will play. Like, you have to factor in that the Southeast Asian games are happening and in like a few days. So I'm trying to recall, like for Dota 2, I want to say it's Cignal Ultra playing, but I'm gonna have to double check. If it's Cignal, I think that's actually gonna coincide with... Oh no, it's a droid. Okay, but they've got Eris and Van as subs. Wait, if it's a droid, are they still in for... Yeah, are they actually in? Or am I not seeing this right? A droid... No, okay. Because if any of them had, like, matches for the minor qualifiers, which are, I believe, in 2 days, that would be a scheduling conflict. So I'm not sure which takes precedence in that case.
I'd imagine the major would, right?
You would think, but I'm not sure how much leeway you can push against your government committees and pull out of an inter-regional game. Like, that is like on a different level. It's like outside of the DPC, yeah, the prize pool is probably not amazing as well, but very much an issue of actual national pride. So unfortunately enough, that's not going to be an issue as far as I can see for most of these national teams. Like, no. It would have been an issue if... Oh, actually... No, okay. That's Barrakex. No.
Maybe just confirm before you go any further.
I'm looking. It would have been an issue if Fnatic had to play minor qualifiers, mainly because Jabs and Savage are playing for Thailand, which actually sounds really scary. That's pretty stacked, I have to say. Like, for the SEA Games, Thailand, that's one to watch out for. And I guess Indonesia, like Barrack X, you can't really count out. Like they haven't had the best run so far, but they've got Jokam, and I think that's a guy I can always cheer for. You've got Nuts over in Singapore as well, and Paulson. Although they don't have the big names from Singapore playing this time around. And for the Philippines, it's basically a droid. Which, again, they have a bit of an edge playing these qualifiers. But still, that's going to be interesting. Like, how much the meta is going to be influenced by this. They are playing on a new patch as well. It kind of reminds me of the ESL IP, Mike. If you remember casting those, like, a lot of these teams are from there. Like, the Myanmar group is pretty much, what, Reckoning? If I recall right. Kind of miscasting those games.
Yeah, they were pretty fun. We should be having them soon again anyway. Too big of a deal.
It's been pretty busy. I believe India has DreamHack coming up fairly soon. Unfortunately, no Dota 2 there. But it seems like a pretty happy event. So, good on them. Looks like it's going to be a pretty fun time there.
No word from Cignal Ultra. Of course, they can't really talk considering all of them disconnected, but it doesn't look good. That is
it definitely doesn't.
That is a very long disconnect.
The lines could be down. Maybe they're switching to a different carrier. Maybe they're trying to pop on a wireless modem, which is really not ideal. They're probably exploring their options here. It's going to be rough. It's surprising that TNC isn't facing that same issue from wherever their team house is. But, you know, that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing for TNC. That's a good thing.
Well, I suppose even if they did, though, TNC would probably have a lot of backups, considering it's a major organization, whereas Cignal Ultra is a little bit smaller.
They are, like, on an international scale, for sure. I think Cignal Ultra Cignal in particular, has really been making strides in trying to establish themselves as a premier esports organization in the Philippines. I think they're pretty damn close to it. Like, I believe they were the champions of the Nationals, you know, that Philippine League, all Philippine League. So they did come out on top there in Season 1.
Right.
And that was a pretty good showing. They have been kind of sticking with the same exact lineup as well. So these guys have played together for a very long time. And hopefully enough their internet comes back. This is one of the longer pauses we've been stuck in. I'm surprised you're not talking about your life right now, Mike.
There's not much to talk about, John. It's all a disaster. I'd rather depress myself at this time of the night.
I mean, you know, it's funny to think about. I mean, it's not funny. It's kind of sad, but it's a strange coincidence. My country is going to be flooding up, and Australia has the bushfires.
It's not good.
It's definitely not.
The whole world is basically having quite a few natural disasters. It's really pretty bad.
I have learned nothing.
What else is there? Like, I'm kind of unaware. I know there was two.
I'd rather not talk about natural disasters. It's a bit depressing.
Miles away.
Don't you think?
It is, but what can you do? The world it happens, right? It's just.
It does happen.
It's just a way of things.
Very, very upsetting.
Like this kind of disconnect. I'm wondering whether or not the admin actually steps in at some point.
Well,
there must be pause time.
Cignal Ultra's clearly having technical difficulties. Like, props to the admin for giving them time, and props.
That was just green. NIGMA was right. Honestly, the power of Buckler, that's what was left. Like, having Buckler in that matchup really changes a lot of things. Yeah, but you can't tell. Here we go.
nice lift and drop, but Miracle still on the tail of Puppy.
Look at his rotation from Weehigh. He's going to come in and try and make sure they can clean up more. I mean, he's going to help him get Zai.
It's working out, yeah. Double kill for Miracle Slark.
And that's a permanent essence shift here. Yep.
What were you saying, JJ?
So it looks like the Weaver can solve Shikuchi out of the static field and the leash, because leash is the same mechanic in a way.
Pro saying,
apparently it still works. So we'll see.
Out of pound.
I saw a Weaver in a pub this morning.
That's just broke. That's wrong.
We did not have a patch
wrong.
since this morning, yeah.
Well, we're gonna see. If that happens,
this morning I saw him run out of a Mars ulti. He just Shikuchi'd right through the Mars wall.
I mean, that's actually insane. I didn't think that would work.
Well, let's see. I mean, let's remember, obviously, NIGMA did pick the Slark into the Weaver. But then again, I guess they may not know that it is broken. We'll see.
And
maybe Secret doesn't know as well.
And maybe it isn't broken and chat's wrong. We'll see.
Yeah, that's also definitely possible.
Yeah. Chat is always right.
Radiant's bottom
we'll see chat if you're right.
He's going for more points in the shot.
Okay.
Dire's structures
Farming super well.
fortified.
He's farmed, I believe, a couple jungle camps as well. I saw him stacking that, right?
50 CS, he's doubling.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing. It's like, the thing is, right, once you've got an Aghanim, you've probably got all the points in the system. You would rather have the other points.
There's double regress.
And Puppy's the beefcake with items as well. He's just trying to play that front.
He's doing really well. Even that last time when they did kill him, they got so much doing that.
Oh, a nice regen after you had those mana burn.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Bottom is Weaver is starting to pull a little bit ahead in last hits, but
I guess the net worth is still very similar on this bot lane, right? Yeah, because of the first blood, obviously.
Yeah. Mighty Pro spent a ton as far as I saw too.
Yeah, he must have.
His career over and over again.
Yep. More come. We have some few more mangoes.
Dire's middle tower is
We
under
are on the
attack.
move again.
Ooh, a very early point of that Exort. Usually he has 5 points in the Wex before he goes back for that Exort.
And what are you taking that early point for?
Probably just the alacrity.
Phase and of course phase. Standard stuff for Weehigh. Tries on Nisha, so he's got Echo Saber into Aghanim.
And it's minute 7.
1580 at like level 7.
Look at his level and look at
Or the
farming.
Dream item here.
Just farming way too fast.
Dream creeps here for farming the neutral items. Yep.
Loads of mine.
Oh, he is.
he
There
got
you
the
go.
elixir.
There you go.
That's not bad.
Dude, dude, this strength gain on Magnus is absurd.
And you gotta when he
We
has
talked
like,
about it yesterday.
when he has Echo and Ags, like how much HP you have in them? Like 3k?
3K.
Yeah. With the levels.
These last hits are so great.
Oh, hello, GH. What you doing there, buddy?
So good.
Oh, the edge.
Nice try.
Very
Nice
So
try.
good.
Chris. Very good attempt. Oh, deny it?
He wants to keep the ball alive.
Last point with him.
Nice.
Yeah, but he denied it. Miracle actually could have gotten 6th, right?
That's true.
So close.
That's some next level play.
One horn will do the damage of two.
The next level play.
Gone for that phase or the venom into drums.
Radiant's middle tower is
Suffering
under
again now.
attack.
Yes, and time lapse.
Oh, that,
That was the
that actually
worst
hurt
time
him.
that
lapse.
hurt him, I think.
Is he getting
Time
is he
lapse.
diving him now?
Matsu.
The level 1 Sunstrike!
Level 1 Sunstrike working out. Oh, the Absor. Does have some battle. Yeah, but
Absorb.
Watch Absor.
looks like I still throw a spell.
Gets him.
The trade for the Agi.
Yeah.
Nice ice pad.
Just being out.
I did get
Can't
it.
do it.
Only one courier from you.
Radiant's bottom tower is
Shuttle.
Oh yeah, even more HP.
More HP.
Shut
Bounty.
What did he get?
Cobalt.
More gold.
More gold and chance at neutral.
Can you drop a neutral item from a Cobalt?
Yes.
You sure? Damn.
I saw someone posted as well. Clumsy net dropped from a kobold.
Pretty
And he has
nice.
stacks as well.
Yeah, this guy's gonna
He's
be
super
farmed.
efficient.
Because he stacked this, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Had a
With the
back.
shockwave.
Easy reach with it, yeah. You don't have to go too far from your lane.
Oh my.
god. These 3 camps, they're so close. Yeah.
Barely misses a wave mid.
And he's already starting to
Just
put
be
more
back.
points into 2 and 2 on top of them.
Skewer.
Sorry.
Go for Aether Lens first.
Aether Lens?
Oh, it's not Argonauts. Someone else has an Aether Lens queued up and I thought we were on the
Probably
ball.
Rubik.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Oh,
Not bad.
they've gotten all their tier 1s. Yeah, they gave that one to That's really nice play moving up and down the river.
We're gonna have minute 10 wounds, outposts as well.
Is nobody on the side of NIGMA getting neutrals? Is that what's happening here?
Not yet, they haven't hit any.
That RP was used, but earlier.
It was
Earlier.
behind the mid.
Yeah, he still has 10-second cooldown.
Matsu farm, I mean, as you said down one here, Matsu and Mind Control, they were going at it trading hits, but I mean, Matsu was
Should have RP again. Oh, he wanted everyone.
Oh, he did. He was a little on the greedy side there.
Oh, he's still going for it.
Yeah, I mean, nobody, like, he's gonna try and kill him. He's almost got 2k health.
Not the rotation Matsu was looking for. Unless we can get Miracle.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is
Yeah, he
under
didn't have mana.
Mid. Tag team.
Okay, NIGMA is firing it there.
They got bottom
Very
tower.
good.
I mean,
the rotation, but the trade.
But Matsu's got to find some way to catch up. He has to get behind.
Yeah.
Like, you look at Miracle's farm, there's already over a 1k difference.
And the thing is, Mind Control was left alone on this bottom lane. He's pushing in, and now Miracle takes over the lane, and Mind Control should start rotating. I believe he has completed Vlad's. This Abaddon is going to be a problem. Pretty farmed.
Full passive as well. 0-4-4. None of them is
Dire's
coil.
structures are fortified.
I mean, we
Radiant's
see
middle
this
tower is under
many
attack.
things.
They glyph the glyph. One glyph action.
Yeah, but the
Mind
heroes
Control's-
are still taking
He's
damage.
just starting to fight here.
He's got ult.
It's going to be a snowball. Oh, he can't, GH. He's going to fall, so will Mind Control. They TP into their death there. I mean, it was a little bit optimistic, right? Sure, Mind Control's going to have stairs.
Alright, we have gonna get a courier, at least one.
Has been
Another one. Oh, look at it. Hello.
Oh, he's focused on the fight. Or at least defending the tower, which is fair enough. So we'll get a second.
No, Prophet is teleporting and shooting at a courier, but yeah, they did around.
tower has
They went for. He's like, where is it?
Where's the car?
Is it?
Oh, he's
Okay.
coming.
I mean, that's a.
They have a ward there.
They see it. Kuro's going to...
He was
No,
okay.
that's a radiant ward.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He needs to TP straight away.
It's got Miracle.
Oh, he stole Wrath of Nature.
That's a great steal.
I've never seen that stone.
Oh, it still hit on Miracle as well with the last tick there, and that actually did quite a bit of damage. Maybe Machubaman can finish off
He's got
Miracle.
ult. He can ult.
Chasing him down. There is Zai right there. He does not have a roar available though. Yeah.
Onto the board.
Onto the board. He wasn't in range.
And the tag team punch.
And Abba is here, so GH should be fine, I think. Yeah, with the shield.
Battle.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like it.
But I kind of feel like it's favoring NIGMA at the
It's
moment.
favoring Magnus.
I don't think it's
Is it?
secret. Yeah, this
Farming.
Magnus is just... He's getting all the space in the world. And, like, you have to be worried about that. If Nishi gets a good time on the Aghanim, you are going to start seeing these fights where, you know, already the lack of control, it's you know, it's on Weehaw. Weeha's got to be in position, otherwise Magnus and Nishi will be all over the team fight.
Look how prioritized these teams are, though, on taking these towers down so quick.
Puts
him after.
Look at the roar down onto GH. He can shield it. We'll be able to push himself back to Sprout with the shards. Again, a nice try, but does end up dying.
Yeah, Matu needs some extra cash, so that's nice.
Team fight is just really strong. They have this, I mean, whenever the macro pyres and everything is up too, it actually is very tough to fight into.
Once you have the RP as well.
Now going back for a Dominator build we've seen pretty much every time on the Beast.
Closer to that tags and
Okay, so 1060 HP. Go back to Magnus really quickly.
2000. Of course.
Giannis.
Why did they call me?
Why am I not getting the call? Why are you gonna call?
Sorry about that. Hopefully it wasn't going through the mic. Get.
$20 seconds for the outposts and the bounties as well.
He doesn't want to dig. He wants the outposts and the ruins. Let's go. 2. Be a little careful here, Weehaw.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Enough setup here. Yeah, he just runs out of the leash. You see that? He just runs out of the leash.
Alright, we're gonna have to get Gaben on the phone.
Oh yeah, that's what I was pretty sure I was reading about that. Pretty bonkers.
What was used, right? Yeah. Fine.
Nisha's just getting all the new
Want something kill? Happy shockwave?
Ooh, the save. Tornado off the mark from the Rubik. PH.
Oh. It's actually fine.
Yeah, mind control. Keeps him safe.
How's that top? The Spirit Vessel.
The T-pin in though. Magic can turn it around and get some kills in response. Just get Kuro.
Stepping Blast wasn't there on time.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Both of them went to the right
Yeah,
spot
super
for
early builds, right?
Yeah.
From both of the carries.
Yeah, well, Miracle's gonna have it a bit sooner.
He has another shawl, right? In the backpack as well. If I see that's right.
Yeah, I guess you just give it to what?
Tusk?
Okay. I mean, I thought they'd give it to like the Invoker probably. I don't really see anyone else. It's not really great on their team. Period.
Well, because this game, the -4 armor can hurt you a bit. There's a lot of physical coming out from Secret.
Yeah. Just not great on Tusk though. I'd imagine they give it to the Invoker for the magic resist.
Clearing out the wave Macropire.
Yeah, he knows. He knows
Yeah,
aggression
yeah.
is coming. You drop that Macropire and you get the hell out.
Yep.
Just run away.
Oh, that's a big one.
That is a
That's
massive
Anisha.
one. And he didn't even get his RP off. He tried. We got Cold Snap, I think?
Yeah, he understood that even if he drops it there, it's Matu had to go back. They can't get the kill.
At least Matu didn't die, but yeah, Nisha has the bigger kill in this case.
The Toneman's catching up. And
is,
the
yeah,
XP
yeah.
gain is really building up too. He's level 15 already from that.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Because he did that.
35%.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Roll is there, Ice Path. Snowball saved though.
Matu cleaning up. That is a lot for him.
And he's, yeah, because gets almost a full level from the
Yeah.
Crush, they can go straight into
They
the
could
pit,
definitely
right?
do
they're
that.
ready
Yeah,
for
I
it.
think they're really easily with Beastmaster.
I guess it's just going to be pressure on the side lane.
I don't think you go. I mean, maybe you go for like a Sunstrike steal at the best.
You have Invoker, like you can EMP tornado, I guess, but Mind Control definitely can be the one that just has
Just stands,
in.
yeah.
Oh, but Invoker's spawn. Oh,
Yeah, we are in the snowball. They just move past Mind Control and go straight for the Invoker, and we are eating the dog for that.
and now you'll go back.
Of course.
To
Yeah, you know, you can zone your batting, get back into the pit. And I mean, that just, the fact that we're able to get on top of Weehaw that easily.
Where Mind Control was, and Mind Control is there. Because he's closer, it's easier to cast his spells. The Absol's just, alright,
Yeah, he's
I'm
just
gonna
like-
lift you, yeah.
Yeah, he's Aether Life. He's like, alright, well, I've got max lift, which gives you that little bit extra cast range as well per level, and then he's got Aether Life.
That's going to be the Aghanim Scepter done on Nisha. He's got it done with that. And a Grove Bow.
Good right now.
Weaver, right? Yeah. Definitely for the Weaver.
Mind Control doesn't have his ult, but he has got a TP.
Has a TP.
That'll be a little bit better.
Was that what, the Essence Ring or something that gave him the mana? Because I thought he was burned by Diffusal. He didn't have Stick either.
Radiant's
Yep.
bottom
Arcane
tower
Ring.
is under attack.
The Essence Ring is the life one.
Oh,
Someone does have that as well, though.
There's two different rings.
This one
One
gives
gives
you the
life,
health.
one gives mana.
That one also gives mana, doesn't it?
Yeah, the Essence
how
Ring
does
actually gets a little bit of mana as well.
Oh, no, you're right. A lot of mana.
A lot of
Yeah,
mana.
yeah, of course, because it's a tier 2 item as opposed to the Arcane Ring being a tier 1 item.
Even a bit.
Yeah. Oh, and using the wall, but there's no Nisha coming in. He gets the FP off.
There's a lot here on NIGMA, though. Nisha's going to get
Oh,
the 2.
here we go. Skewer 1. And he has another one. Skewer 2. Getting the angle right.
Matu should be able to kill another one. He's just sort of pulling them around. Matu can just sit there and hit them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He wants more. It's not even
not
about
done.
their positioning. It's about the amount of time
He's
it's
going back
right?
and forth,
Yeah.
back
I mean,
and
it
forth.
also does 300 damage.
Of course.
Matu is chasing these two. There's not really any follow-up yet because nobody's as fast as he is.
Matu
But
should
he's
be able
not
to
done.
finish Mind Control.
He's got an Aegis. He's like, yeah, sure.
Oh, okay, so he doesn't want to die for it. I guess I did have the mana for it. Well, he had a 1 charge if he wanted to go for 1 with Shikuchi, but
Could have went. He has Diffusal as well. He had it.
he pretty wanted to play.
Oh, the
safe.
race.
I mean, that's not really a race.
There's so much HP on this Magnus, not a lot the BR can do on his own. But with a skewer,
Yeah,
another
but look at
skewer.
this.
They're not going to catch him. I mean, how do you catch him?
Mini, the Cold Snap and stuff is going to stop Skewer. Because he just skewered wall Cold Snap. It didn't even do anything. Okay.
So you think the wind-up should be a bit longer?
Because it increases the cast point as well, right? The Aghanims makes 0 mana, increases cast point, and it loses mana cost.
Yeah.
So maybe they get rid of that cast point thing.
The cast point is ridiculous, yeah. If you're cold snapped, you shouldn't be able to use it.
It's very hard for him to mention that. Especially because, I mean, you've got to remember this Ags was very, very fast.
They need a hex.
20 minutes in, it's what, 5k lead now for Secret.
It's 3,000.
I told you, right? 3k HP when you got these 2 items.
Put the axe in instead of pick, maybe.
Yeah. And the fact that you can farm those 3 camps near the lane so fast as well, you can just get infinite gold.
Don't even need mana.
I mean, yeah, because
Just skewer every time.
3.3k. Right?
Oh, they get the time
that
up
was
off.
a good time.
Where's the team? Is the team coming?
That's a
They're running. Guess who it is? It's Nisha. Skewer in 1.
The rest of it's so bad. I mean, you still push them away. Secret's going to be able to push them. Oh, Mind Control. Oh, no. Mana burn. Oh, no. Scared about. He does have the ult. There's nothing that NIGMA can do to keep Mind Control
No, they're
safe.
actually, they just keep hitting him too. They're like, they don't care.
Yeah, they know that this is a very easy kill. BKB done on Matu as well, so.
This is snowballing out of
We are gonna get a courier.
They hit their
And
timing.
the double arrow.
They can't contest them anymore.
Yeah, the timings are everything's together. BKB on Weaver, he's actually unkillable now.
Has fallen.
Are they going? Yeah. Why not?
Go ahead.
I mean, might as well. You got the
They've got everything up.
They've got so much push.
All their abilities.
NIGMA's not ready for this. At the end of the day, it is a Slark lineup. You 5 man against a Slark in 22 minutes. Slark's going to have some problems.
Oh, Mind Control. You will OT.
He fall back for that. That's a dieback.
That's a dieback.
That's his game, right?
It's looking pretty over.
Maybe he does. Yeah.
Maybe Secret plans to die.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
They did get the creep wave.
They did get the
So
wave.
they've kept tier 3 alive for now.
Radiant's top
They have
tower is
10k
under
lead for
attack.
Secret.
That's 4
4
buybacks.
it is. This is a...
Actually 5, right? Because Abaddon.
Yeah, that's a dieback for a
the dieback.
battle. But he's
Well,
counted
no,
as yeah, 4
who
buybacks.
didn't buy back? Someone didn't buy back. Kuro didn't buy back, right?
Radiant's top tower
The
has fallen.
Profit.
Jesus, this snowball out of control. Couple mistakes and you just lose everything.
Dire's bottom tower
We were
is
thinking
under attack.
maybe NIGMA had an advantage from the close, fairly skirmishes. But Magnus was just farming.
What is this? It's like a wolf. It's like a demon boar with a
Dire's
fluffy
bottom
tail.
tower has fallen.
And
Radiant's bottom
he's
tower
dead.
is under attack.
It's just Zai. It happens.
Yeah.
Just I think.
Just Zai things, yeah.
Yeah. Those are 2 key parts of this lineup, and I guess the Jakiro adds a lot to it, but the rest can actually be replaced by a lot of different heroes as well. Like, as long as you got this Magnus, you... And, anything else with movement.
Well, Beast does have a lot of
Invisibility.
the Hawk, the
Yeah,
Aura.
and the auras help a lot too. Yeah.
Oh, I think yeah, all bits of Secret's lineup are very, very important. Well, I think if someone's going to get banned, it's going to be the cause. It's going to be the Weaver or the Madness. That's what you're looking at this game at the moment. If you're going to say these are the biggest issues. Puppy. It's going to be Dove here. Still alive. Will die to the tornado damage.
Pushed into the base.
Yeah, but really,
yeah, that was a deep dive for Puppy. That's a dive back. I mean, Puppy's like, was that worth it, Nigma? Diving like that? I mean, we will get out, but Miracle dying for that?
I mean, we also, we used to be a secret player. So many stories in this matchup.
The ult, gotta use in a second.
Yuzo and no mana on my Pro 2. That's you don't have Stark, you don't have
Beyond godlike.
Runes are up, but who cares?
That's just beast mode now, these cores.
Papa got mad, he gave first blood, he's like, I'm not dying anymore, I'm gonna take over this game.
Oh, there's a man
Take over indeed as they have. It was such a good Weaver pick versus Tusk and Furion supports when you saw that.
And the thing, they had 2 picks to deal with the Weaver pick, and I don't feel they did. No, I guess like the Abba, sure they picked it could trade farm in the lane, but it felt like other than that, the Abaddon's kind of just fed. It hasn't provided you that any sort of extra catch or way to deal with these slippery heroes, the Aghanims, Magnus, and the Weaver. They just had a totally free game.
Yeah, so you can, right? There's elusiveness versus limited stuns. Really well.
Yep.
There's a blink on GH.
Dire's top shrine.
They're already done. Just move back, take the shrines.
Oh yeah, just look how far I had Mata and Nisha. 14k net worth. Nobody even close at the moment on
Dire's
Nigma.
top shrine has fallen.
Got it. The seeds of
Yeah, with that start, you look back at the lanes, Nigma were able to secure a good lane for Miracle. But it didn't matter when everything came together for Secret in the mid game. Nigma's just struggled to deal with the push. That's just always been the weaknesses, right, with Slark lineups. When the five man comes into the game anytime like pre-30 minutes.
You try to itemize for that. It's not that some itemize diffusal, that can't deal with
but it's still hard. Like even when you have like drums diffusal, it's so hard to fight into a 5-man push.
He also did try to leash Matunda Man a couple of times. And Matu just goes away. That's problematic too.
Which is a very hard game for Nigma's heroes.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Is there a way back? Without secret throwing hard, is there a way back?
It's hard because of they have really high duration. Like the BKBs are full duration on the Weaver and the Magnus, so it's really tough.
Like MC's bottom 3 network, like this Abaddon is a support hero now.
Their next big timing is this. When Miracle gets BKB, and I think the Invoker just got BKB as well.
And that's going to be one team fight.
They've got like one team fight that they need to have to go successful, otherwise the game's probably just
BKB. His team is nowhere close to him though, but he's fine.
I mean, when he has the BKB pot, there's nothing.
Has that double damage as well in the bottle.
Nearly 25 as well.
And they're gonna they're just gonna get Roche. Even though they, Nigma is gonna have their BKBs, they're gonna have to be playing.
They won't contest.
No.
They're way too far.
And yeah, Secret kills
He's holding the beating. They're gonna look to end the game.
Does he have BKB on Slark? That's the question.
He should have it done.
He should have it. So he's gonna get one fight with BKB and that's it.
BKB Invoker and BKB Slark.
Yep,
they're gonna need something miraculous.
The 10-second BKBs, can they make a difference?
And you won't be able to skewer them around, I guess. But...
Radiant's bottom tower
Nice Amnesia there. Trying to find a skill, won't find the target. But now they do the focus on him and Matsu will finish off the kill. So that's got a buyback available.
Matthew just go for the buildings. a Mindful Tool that shows up, but
Kill it so fast.
Yeah.
Weaver with that Empower.
With the Desolator.
I mean,
Look how hard he's hitting.
I mean, they know, you know, Secret. They're on the road to closing this game out.
Hey, look, someone dig another found. You've dug up a bounce rune. Hit it. Take it. Efficiency.
Oh, the BKB gets hard beaten right as he uses it.
All thrown in at the end as well by Zion.
That's it. No buybacks.
They got 2 BKB disabling. BKB piercing disables. That's Nigma, you can call it now. We will not be mad.
I'm thinking about it.
We will fully understand your situation.
This game one was
we always have a chance next.
straight up combination of outplaying. I really did think outshot.
Outdraft and outplay, but Sigma man, very shaky.
They've had a few games like this because some people might not have seen because they might be watching like the Secret route. Yeah, those that haven't watched Nigma's route, I saw some people still commenting like, sure, like you look at Nigma's lineup, you think these players are going to be, they're not going to drop the game against like any of sort of the other teams in the group, but they did. They had games where they
Everyone thought that.
Yeah,
Right?
so in this matchup against Secret side, before we saw what was happening in this game, it was like, well, Secret is very easily faced.